Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses in New York, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. So got a question I get a lot, different forms of it, right? It could be like, what's the best area to go work in now? And I got one was, what are the hottest real estate markets in the United States? Now, I'm going to answer the question, right, based on a couple of things. The data that you get on this is always a lag on it, right? So this is the hottest as of like 6-7 months ago, but that doesn't mean that it's the hottest right now, because there's no way to know what's the hottest today, right? We only get information that lags a little bit. But I'm going to give you the ways to figure out what are the hottest markets, what that even means, and then at the end, I'm going to tell you why it's a terrible question, which is interesting, right? Because I'm going to answer it. It's going to take me time, but I'm going to tell you why it's not a good question. So there are five ways to measure how hot a market is. The first is the year-over-year change on the median sale price, right? So the median is the middle, not the average, but the middle, right? 50% more, 50% less. Year-over-year change of the median sale price. So from what it was a year ago to now. So the hottest markets in the United States, let's say sort of the end of 2021 were the hottest, so by first through 10. So the first 10 is Boise City, Idaho, Stamford, Connecticut, Austin, Texas, Wichita, Kansas, New Haven, Connecticut, Ogden, Utah, Provo, Utah, Allentown, Pennsylvania, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and Dayton, Ohio, right? We're talking about a range of a 28% year-over-year change for Boise to, let's say, a 16% year-over-year change to Dayton. That's one way to measure what the hottest markets are, right? Because the median price has gone up a huge amount year over year. The second one was inventory. So how much less inventory is there year over year? So how much less properties available for sale? And remember, this is coming from a year before, which was really in the middle of the pandemic, where there wasn't a lot of properties for sale in most places because of the pandemic, and this is much less. So again, number one, Boise City, Idaho, Provo, Utah, Raleigh, North Carolina, Akron, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, Jackson, Mississippi, Columbia, South Carolina, Jacksonville, Florida, Ogden, Utah, Ogden, Provo, all similar. Those are all Salt Lake City suburbs. And then Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton area in Florida. We're talking about a year-over-year change of inventory from Boise down 58%. To that Sarasota area down 45%. So a huge drop in available properties. That's the second way to look at it. Another way to measure how hot the market is by sales count, right? How year-over-year change, how many more sales there are in one given area. So 1 through 10 is Albany, New York, Syracuse, New York, Chicago, Illinois, San Jose, California, Baltimore, Maryland, Fort Myers, Florida, Stamford, Connecticut, New Haven, Connecticut, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and Honolulu, Hawaii. Now, this one's a little bit of a screwy one because of the pandemic, because things weren't closing in certain areas during the pandemic, but I would say it's also very good. So what percentage of sales count gone up? So Albany, New York, sales count's gone up 72% year over year. Down to Honolulu, it's gone up about 40% year over year. So that is another way. And there's two more ways to measure hot markets. The next one is days depending. So when someone lists a property, how many days does it take for it to go into contract? And those are in order: Columbus, Ohio, Raleigh, North Carolina, Ogden, Utah, Denver, Colorado, Charlotte, North Carolina, Cincinnati, Ohio, Kansas City, Missouri, Indianapolis, Austin, Texas, Memphis, Tennessee. We're talking about days pending in the first few 5 days. 5 days it goes under contract, to the end 6 days. So, and these are all like top 100 markets. Like anything smaller than that is hard to figure. And then the fifth category to figure out how hot things are hot is what percentage they sell above the listing price. So, in order again, Boise City, Idaho, which is crazy. It's 40% year-over-year change. Nothing's even close to that. Actually, Ogden, Utah is 36%. San Francisco, California, Stockton, California, Buffalo, New York, San Jose, California, Rochester, New York, Worcester, Massachusetts, Seattle, Washington, and Provo, Utah. You're talking about between 40% and like 70% year-over-year change of when. Oh, I'm sorry. This isn't I apologize. This isn't the percentage sold above list. It's the percentage of properties that sold above list. I'm getting wrong numbers. So and those are between 55 and 45% sold above. But the year-over-year change over how many properties sold above list last year to this year, that also might be screwed with the pandemic. So those are the hottest markets in the United States right now. Now I'm going to tell you why I think it's a bad question to ask. I can guarantee you, if I took the opposite of this, so the worst property, the coolest markets in the United States, and there are a bunch of guys making money in those areas. So what I find, and this happens in everything, and certainly in this business, is that people want this shortcut, right? They say, well, New York's too hard, I heard it's too hard, or I heard it's illegal, so, which is not true, and so I'm going to find the hottest market, and it's going to be easy. Let me tell you something, even if you only marketed every single one of the areas I just told you, it's still not easy, right? And guess what? The hottest markets are going to have other challenges, right? In general, the whole country's in a hot market, so what happens is more people say, I want full price, right? A higher percentage than usual. And there's always people who want full price, and I can't tell you how many people have started marketing and come back to me and say, well, everybody wants full price. And no shit, everybody wants full price. But in a hotter market where people hear how hot the market is, they see it in the paper, they read it, they see it on TV, they a higher percentage say, I'm not selling at a discount, even though they need to. And they may eventually sell at a discount, but that's more difficult to overcome. So in the crappiest markets, whatever those are, I don't know what those are, there's less resistance. And I guarantee you, in any market, there are people making money. In any market, in any time, there are people who are marketing consistently, persistently, right? Consistency means you do the marketing all the time. Persistent means you get over the fact that some people are going to tell you to drop dead. And when you do that for a long period of time, you get leads, people saying, I need to sell. I understand I'm gonna give up some of my equity for the convenience and certainty that you provide. That is what investors do. So the idea that you're going to look for the hottest market and then you're going to market to that market and it's going to be so simple, and in 3 weeks I'm going to have a check for $42,000 is foolish. Chances are in all those hot markets that people who have been doing it longer, it's going to take time, it's going to be difficult, and the idea that this is some kind of shortcut that I'm going to find a hot market is foolish. So the question comes up all the time, and this wasn't the title of this video, but I want to answer it. Where should I market? Where should I operate? And I say there's only two factors to think about, right? The first is areas that you know. That gives you an advantage, right? If I know this area and I know that on one side of the tracks properties are less, that'll help me, give me some kind of advantage over people that may not know that. And the second is areas that are lower priced areas. Now, it's hard in New York because most places are higher priced, right? But I can tell you that the biggest gains I've seen, for sure, almost all of the biggest gain areas in Long Island that I've seen have been the lower priced areas. So I'm talking about Mastic Shirley in Suffolk, Wyandanch in Nassau. You know, obviously there are other areas like Elmont, which just got the stadium, which no one really cares about, but it's getting a Long Island Railroad stop on a regular basis, and that's a big deal, right? A big knock on Elmont has always been it didn't have a Long Island Railroad stop. Valley Stream has 3 Long Island Railroad stops, and Elmont didn't have one. So that was the kind of BS, and now that they're getting one, that market's gone up a lot. But the lower priced areas are the areas you should operate in because there's more likely that you'll be able to buy a property at a discount. Now let me just give you the math as to why. There is some concept that, hey, there's less sophisticated people there that maybe are okay with taking a discount, but I don't believe that as much as I believe if you got to buy a property at a discount, let's say 20-30% discount. If the property is a $200,000 property and you got a 20% discount, it's only $40,000. If the property is an $800,000 property, you need a 20% discount. It's $160,000. It's a much bigger psychological jump for a guy to say, you know what, I'll take a little bit of a bite because I got to sell quickly, or I'll take a little bit of a bite because my house is in terrible condition, then I'm going to take a $200,000 bite, right, out of my pocket. It's harder for it to work. It's not because people are stupider, and there always will be people who are willing to take a significant discount because of the certainty and convenience that investors provide. But that's the truth. So I don't think you should be looking for the hottest market to go market to. Chances are there's going to be more competition in those areas. One of the reasons why I love New York is very little competition because it's so different here. You can watch my videos as to why it's so different. There's a million reasons. There's a lot of reasons why it's more challenging. There's a lot of reasons why it's better. Most people can't get past the more challenging to even get into the fact that it's better. And that's fine. I'm happy with that. Okay. So I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you are interested in a course I have that teaches how to do what I do, go to howtoflipnewyorkcourse.com. If you are interested in finding out more about one-on-one coaching I provide, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any channel, please click the thumbs up. The likes really help me. And Please keep the comments coming. I go live 5 times a week. I don't always know what to say. Your questions help me. You can ask any question. Doesn't have to be about the video you're watching. If it's a simple answer, I'll just reply. If it is something I've covered before, I'll send you links to the videos. And if it's something new, I will do a new video on it. I really, really appreciate you guys watching. A lot more people watching, and it means a lot to me, so thank you.